in Congress. A retired brigadier general in the Air Force, Bacon was first elected to the House in 2016, the same cycle as Donald Trump's first presidential election. In the decades since, Bacon's become known as one of the few Republicans who's been unafraid to speak his mind based on his principles, his beliefs, and what he thinks is best for his constituents, even if that doesn't sit well with his party. Announcing his retirement, Bacon told the New York Times, quote, "I'd like to fight for the soul of our party. I don't want to be the guy who follows the flute player off the cliff. I think that's what's going on right now," end quote. Don Bacon is a conservative. He's described himself as a traditional conservative and a Reagan Republican. He's frequently voted in line with Donald Trump's agenda, including supporting the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which passed on Thursday with only Republican support in the House and by the slimmest of majorities. According to 538, during Trump's first term, Bacon voted in line with Trump's position, 89.4% of the time. But here's the thing about Don Bacon. He's not part of a cult-like following that's come to dominate the Republican Party. In particular, Bacon's taken issue with the president's pro-tariff trade policy and, as a decorated veteran, Trump's friendliness towards Russia and Vladimir Putin. He's a Republican elected in a purple district, one that narrowly voted for Kamala Harris last November and Joe Biden in 2020 and voted for Trump in 2016. So he's approached Washington as a leader from an evenly divided district would, expecting to be working to find common ground. He's a member of the Bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus in Congress. He's someone Democrats could talk to and negotiate with in good faith, even if they disagree with him on most issues. But American politics and his own fellow Republicans have moved away from that problem solver type of leadership. And 2 years from now, Don Bacon will no longer be in Congress, leaving the question of what the Republican Party can be if it's not the party of Donald Trump. Republican Representative Don Bacon of Nebraska joins me now because Don Bacon accepts my invitation to come on this show whenever we ask. And I want to be clear. Congressman, first of all, welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you. I hope you had a great Independence Day. I know we did here in Omaha with my family.
Congressman, I'm getting a lot of heat on social media whenever I tell people that you're coming on the show. And I think people need to know you don't come on because we agree on stuff. You often come on because we don't agree on stuff. I think we agree on the most important things, and that is we need to preserve democracy. But the point here is that you are prepared to get in there and tell people why you believe something that in many cases my viewers will not agree with.
Well, we're both Americans first, and it's hard to disagree. I think it's hard to talk about issues. And I think Republicans should get on MSNBC or CNN and try to defend our positions, or at least listen to the other perspective. And I appreciate the way you approach things, Allie. And I thought your introduction was spot on.
Let's talk about explaining why you take positions. You did vote for the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. You had some reservations about it. There are concerns about two things that a lot of Republicans are concerned about. One is the cuts to health care that will affect at a statewide level and in terms of rural hospitals. And then there's the increase in the deficit and the debt, something that's traditionally been something Republicans have been against. How do you square that circle to vote yes?
Well, first of all, I've worked for 3 or 4 months to negotiate on the Medicaid side, and I got the bill in a much better spot than where we were at 4 months ago. I mean, they were going to lower the federal matching. They were going to do block grants. And I came in and said, let's focus on work requirements for healthy adults with no small children. Let's do a audit of the rolls. There's not been a good one since COVID. And the CBO estimates 2.6 million people are on Medicaid today that should not be on it. They earn over the income or whatever the reasons may be. I thought this was an easier areas to make savings, and you can still protect those who need it. For example, the children. I have a children's hospital here, disabled adults, and so forth. The biggest issue for me was to protect the tax code, because if we did nothing, the average Nebraskan taxes would go up 20%. So that was the biggest factor for me in supporting the bill. Also, we're going to fix defense. Defense spending right now is 2.9% of our GDP, the lowest since 1940. We're going to try to get it close to 4%. Now, there were friction areas, and I agree this bill's not perfect. I thought the Senate went farther than what the House did on Medicaid, and I didn't like the changes, frankly, but I had to weigh this bill in its totality. We do have time to do repairs to the Medicaid portion if we find this does not work. Now, one of the ways the Senate mitigated all this, they added a $50 billion for rural health care. Mm-hmm. So I think that may mitigate some of the problems that people are talking about. And I think Congresswoman Underwood brought up a good point about capping college student loans. I think generally it's not a bad idea to reduce some of the federal money here. However, for medical school and law school, I think perhaps we should look at revising these caps, because I don't think you can get can't become a doctor or a surgeon at the caps that we put on this bill. But I would also counter that by saying there's other ways to get loans to pay for school as well. But I do think there's some areas that we can continue to tweak here. But my bottom line for me, I did not want to raise taxes on Americans by 20%. And that was the biggest factor.
Talk to me about the other side of that equation, and that is that there are large deficit increases in here, agreed upon by most economists and the CBO. The White House has a different view of this. They're using slightly different math, but the fact is, it is tax cuts that go disproportionately to the wealthy that result in a deficit. You're an old-time Republican. That trouble you?
I'll give you a little bit of a nuanced view on this, Ali. First, the deficit grows because we don't do the tax increase. So in other words, we cut spending. Spending is actually lower in this bill than without it. But if we do nothing, taxes go up 20% on the middle class. It's actually lower for those in the higher income brackets. But like you say, if you're earning $200,000 and you're getting a 10% tax cut, that's still more money than if you're a middle class with a 20% tax cut. So I get that. Under this bill, though, the wealthy pay a higher share of the income taxes overall. And so the percentage of the payments that go into taxes is actually going to be lower for the middle class when this is all said and done. But to your point, if you prevent a major tax increase, that will increase the deficit, and that's what the CBO is scoring. And what we're trying to do is really keep it the same. Now, there's a few new taxes in here, or tax cuts in here, for tips, for overtime, and 88% of the people now on Social Security will pay no taxes at all under this bill. So there are some additions, but for the most part, it keeps things status quo.
I'm going to come back and pick that up with you on the other side, because we know how we got to pay our bills here, and part of that is a commercial break. We'll be right back with Congressman Don Bacon. Republican Congressman Don Bacon of Nebraska is with me. Congressman, you mentioned the $50 billion in relief to rural hospitals. The cuts to Medicaid and other programs like that, including SNAP, are about $1 trillion in here. So even with the things that you say, an audit and figuring out who's on Medicaid, who shouldn't be, it's a relatively efficient system. SNAP, these aid programs tend to be really efficient. You're not going to find anywhere near $1 trillion worth of that kind of stuff. So we're talking about $50 billion versus $1 trillion. What do you think? You had actually said something about cutting more than $500 million would be problematic to you. We're at about double that.
Well, I was focused on three things in the negotiations. This was like 3 or 4 months ago. I said work requirements for healthy adults with no small children, and we're talking 20 hours a week, having a job or looking for a job, volunteering or taking classes, a pretty low bar. That was a $300 billion savings, according to the CBO. The CBO also said that we have 2.6 million people on Medicaid that should not be on it because it hasn't been audited since COVID. That's another $200 billion. So I went out and said, this is $500 billion right here that I think most Americans support. And by the way, they do. 72% of Americans support, if you're going to cut Medicaid, cut it in these areas. And that's why what I put out there, I wanted that to be the position that we build around. And the Speaker largely did that in the House bill. Now, the Senate came in and they lowered some directed payments that go to the hospitals, and they go from like 6% to 3%. I think that I'm not happy with that change. Now, I'm talking to our hospitals. They don't like these cuts, but they think they can survive it. I would also point out that there's been a massive increase in Medicaid spending in the last 5 years. It's almost doubled in size. There's been like an 8 or 9% growth every year. And so, I don't know, I had to weigh this bill in its totality. I think there is, if we find that this does damage as we progress, we can revise it. We can make some changes. We can add, instead of $50 billion, maybe we'll put more money towards rural health care. But I didn't think it would be good to raise taxes on the middle class 20%. And for the average Nebraskan, that's $141 a month if you're earning $50,000 a year. And that was, you got to weigh things. And I thought should be my priority. I am a Republican. Raising taxes by 20% on the middle class, was something that I didn't want to do.
So I guess this is where it becomes tricky, because some people call it raising taxes. Others call it the expiration of tax cuts that you voted for back in 2017. So when you say it's status quo, depends how you look at it, right? It's either status quo or it's a tax increase, or this is where it becomes tricky. I mean, we could just agree this is a $4 trillion tax cut that increases the deficit. It's not status quo.
We stopped a tax increase that would have brought in $4 trillion. You and I are saying the same thing, probably different sides of the coin. But if we didn't do anything, taxes would go back to the old rate of 2017, and it would be about $4 trillion more revenue. I would point out that we did cut spending. Overall spending does decrease in this bill, so it wasn't.
But so much of it is this, right? So much of it is
spending.
Is SNAP and Medicaid. That's the issue. But let's just talk about this idea. You said something interesting. You said, the wealthy pay, the majority of taxes. So, but that's the case. We have income disparity in this country. So it sort of makes sense that the wealthy, even though their tax rate doesn't have to be higher, that they would pay most of the taxes in this country, right? Isn't that sort of a sign of where we are? Middle class people can't carry the burden of all the taxes in this country.
Right. I support a progressive tax code. I do think the wealthier should pay a higher percentage. My point here is, Allie, that under this bill, if you go back to the old tax code prior to 2017 versus what we have now, the wealthier are paying a higher percentage, they're paying more of the share of the income taxes.
In total.
If we went back to the old tax, in total. So if we went back to the old tax code, if we got the tax increases, the middle class would be paying a higher share, or that rate goes up compared to the wealthy. So this tax code is actually more progressive in the end.
Congressman, good to have you here. Thank you. I remind people who are going to take a piece out of you on social media and me that we talk because we don't agree. You've got a good long time in Congress left, so we will talk regularly.